Hello Darts Nutz, welcome to Darts Review channel. In this video I'm checking out another set from the recent Shot Badlands range, and this particular one is the Sheriff. Another very nicely machined dart by the looks of it, and it looks as if it's got a nice black and gold tie coating on, and it front weighted I think as well, so looking forward to trying these. So let's check them out. I'm reviewing the 23 gram version, the 90% tungsten. They're also in 24 and 25 gram steel tip, 20 gram in soft tip, and the retail for £84.85. Right, so as you can see, it comes in the Badlands packaging, which is, like I mentioned before, got kind of like a graphic novel Mad Max kind of feel. Also a bit like the video game Badlands. Was it Badlands? No, Borderlands. Badlands is this, isn't it? Now, I don't know if there's a mistake with the packaging. I don't really think it is, but if you notice it there, it says centre balanced, and then on the back it says the taper leans to a front weighted balance. So a little bit confusing, but I don't know if it just means this section here is making it slightly front weighted. So it could be deliberate, because on the site when I've checked it, it says centre weighted on the site as well. So it might be just the way that the grip is cut, which is creating that kind of slightly front weighted feel, even though it kind of looks like a straight barrel, but I'll know better when I get the calipers on it. And fitted with the little point holder there, and comes with the Tweeny Koi carbon stems and the Badlands small standard flights. So the darts fit with the Badlands etched points. Now, to me, it kind of, it's not, I wouldn't say fully straight. I mean, it could be just an optical illusion, but it kind of almost looks like it's curving slightly there. But this section here definitely looks wider than the rest of the barrel, so it's maybe just that section that's like a taper. So kind of like, I would say, a straight barrel, but with a touch of front weightedness maybe. It's going to be an interesting one to try. It looks a bit on the long side like, so it'll be interesting to see how it works for me. Now, it's got a good bit of grip though, and it may feel different when I come to throw it, but in some ways I think that feels almost more grippy than the smasher darts. But I think it's all dependent on the individual, not just when you're feeling like this, but how your fingers sit on it and how you release the dart and all that. So it may feel different when I come to throw it, but it's certainly got some design on the grip. So you got these sections of normal thin micro grip rings, and then I think it called these like a turbo vent shark grip or something like that. And then you got a mix of ring and groove on the rear half, but with the lateral cuts running all the way through, so it's still quite grippy there. It looks a good dart though. If you like a long, slightly front weighted style, I think it may work well for you. And it's got the gold tie and the black tie coating on, and fitted with the Koi Tweeny stems and the Badlands small standard flights. So that's the full setup. We'll have a super close look at the grip now. So you got quite a wide bull nose at the front, smooth with the gold tie coating, and then you got some kind of like V-shaped or knife-edged rings, bands of rings I should say, and quite deep grooves in between them. And then you've got these shark rings with quite wide lateral cuts and almost kind of creating like an angled tapered style. And then you've got more of the thin cut bands rings in between, but as you can see, these ones have kind of got like rings that are a little bit more pronounced as at the front, as it kind of like tapers towards the rear. So lots and lots of little spiky bits for your finger to grab onto there. And then on the rear, it's kind of got the same rings that are in between the others, but this time the lateral cuts are running through it, so just creates a little bit more grippiness again, and all with that black and gold tie coating. So quite a nice contrast there. So that's the super close look at the shop Badlands, the Sheriff darts. The darts fit with the 29mm etched Badlands points. You've got this wide kind of rounded bull nose, 4.3mm, and then you've got this mix of thin knife edged bands with these kind of like tapered shark rings or sections with lateral cuts, 27.6mm. On the rear it's kind of like a thin pronounced ring, again with the knife edge bands in between, and lateral cuts 18.7mm, small taper on the end 1.4mm, length 52mm, wide is 7.25mm. 23.10 grams, stuck to the magnet. 23.13 grams, and 23.10 grams. Full setup, 24.93 grams. So this is the balance with just the barrels only, and this is the balance with the supplied setup. I was almost tempted to give it a higher score than the Smasher, but it didn't feel quite as grippy when I was throwing it as when I was feeling it. But I think it depends on how your fingers sit on the pronounced rings, but I'm just playing it safe. 8. Let's give them a throw and see how they go. Oh! Oh! I don't believe it. Well, look at the way it's landed. Even the first one was going a bit slanted. Ah! I don't think I'd have got it in any case. But I was a little bit surprised the first one went in, because it almost went sideways before it hit the board. I don't know if it's down to the length or not, but... Oh, see, it's still kind of like leaning over to the right. So... Oh, there's another treble. Oh, now they've gone to the other side now. Treble 1 champion. Oh, I actually think these may be grippier than the Smasher darts that I reviewed. I don't know, it just... They've got like a kind of a scallopy feel, but there's like... The way them kind of rings kind of stick out. It just does feel a little bit more grippy, I think. Well, there's another treble, but they're not flying very straight. So I don't know how they're hitting the trebles. It's kind of like leaning over, so it might be just getting used to them, but but who cares if they're hitting the treble? I'll try it from the midsection. So I'm still kind of like on those like raised rings, and like I say, the rings have got quite a grippy feel to them. No, that one didn't do the sideways movement, but wasn't quite right. Slightly quirky barrel, I think. Oh, treble 1 champion again. I do quite like the grip on it though. I think it's just maybe the length. But it didn't feel too bad in terms of the balance with the front grip. It just didn't seem to be going through the air very straight for me. I start to do it a little bit, then I wonder if it's the grip, maybe I'm just maybe catching it or something because I'm letting go. And I'll try it on the rear section now, but I also think the rear section has got quite a good level of grip to it. Oh, treble 1 champion again. No. I find it quite an unusual dart for me, but like I say, I don't know how I was hitting the trebles. my elbow's hurting, so oh, not quite getting it right anyway. One last try with the rear grip, but I don't think I got the hang of any of the grips really, even though it hit some trebles. It didn't really feel like I was getting it right. And I think that's just because my elbow's there and I'm not following through properly. But, well, I don't know what to make of it, to be honest. It wasn't too bad in terms of the balance with my front grip, and I do like the feel of the grip. I just didn't seem to be getting the darts to go through the air very straight. They were kind of like, I don't know, they were going like a bit like sideways, but they were still hitting the treble a few times. So anyway, I think this one's actually more grippy than the Smasher, but that might be just me. So if you do like a grippy dart and a kind of a slightly front weighted one and a fairly long one, then you might want to give them a try. So that's the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Happy darting.